Yo, pull up a chair, let the real talk begin. Faith on the table where the brothers lock in. Life gets heavy, but we stand our ground. Truth in the room when the circle comes round. No mask, no front, just real man here. Talking about faith through the doubt and the fear. From the grind of the week to the lessons we share. Welcome to the men's round table, pull up a chair. Men's round table series, step inside. Real men, real faith, where the truths collide. Voices at the table where the stories get shared. Welcome to the men's round table, pull up a chair.
Welcome back to the Men's Roundtable Series Interview Spotlight. I'm your host, Mr. U. If you're watching us for the very first time, thanks for making us part of your week. We're live on YouTube and Facebook, and of course, you can find all four of our shows, or all five of our shows, I guess, across all social media and all podcast listening platforms. Thanks for joining us, make it part of your day, and you being a part of ours. Today, I had the privilege of interviewing a devoted father, coach, entrepreneur, speaker, and the author of Why Won't He Just Log Off? Ooh, love that title. Nathan Graham is in the studio with us. Nathan, how you doing, brother? Good to see you, man.
Mr. U, that was, I love that introduction, man. The beat, I just love that opening. I gotta say it.
I'm in love with
doing well. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. I'm in love with all of our intro music. I'm partial at this point. I vibe out to all of it now. But great to have this conversation with you, man. I'm excited about doing this. This show is pretty multi-layered. It's a show where we believe men rebuild from the inside out. This is also a one-on-one version of what we do every Thursday nights at 7 p.m. EST, our Men's Roundtable Series podcast. Not sure if you caught any of those episodes, but invite you to definitely jump in and be a part of the conversation. It's our safe space for men that we created, with men around the country. Join us every Thursday night to talk about every issue you can think of that a man has. If you think about it and you got the issue, we talk about it on this show, man. So you're definitely invited to that. But here's our one-on-one version of that, man. I'm going to get into some chat with you, man. One of the things that I love already from our brief conversation is I already feel the competitive nature. The competitive juices flowing off you already. Behind you, you got the jersey of the great one. And I don't mean The Rock. I'm talking about Wayne Gretzky. Big hockey fan, I would assume?
Oh, yeah. From Toronto, Canada. And wow. I'm an Oilers fan, too. I got to say, I'm not one of those Leaf fans. They get a little crazy. I'm a huge Oilers fan. Somehow we can have 18 first-round picks and not still win a cup, but we'll get there.
Oh, boy.
It's been rough.
It could be a separate conversation. First of all, I haven't even talked to an Oilers fan before you, so you have a very distinct distinction today, because I haven't even met one, I don't think. So not when it came out and said it out loud anyway. So I don't think you stick to your team, man, and you're not one of those fly-by-night people. I respect you even more for that, man. But good stuff on that. So I know that one of the things you deal with is the challenges that our children and young teens have with dependency on all things digital. Tell me why that became a mission point for you, man. What happened there? Why did it touch?
Yeah, because I was one of them, to be honest.
Ooh,
so when I was growing up, we didn't have a lot of video games in the house, right? And I remember grade 8, grade 9, I got picked on a lot at school. And I used to rush home. I would play with my Legos and watch Star Wars, hence the lightsabers behind me. And it was my way of escaping a lot of things and fulfilling needs. And then my dad got sick of it. And he eventually looked at me one day and he said, "Son, I don't care what sport you're playing, but you're playing a sport." And so I started playing football. And that changed my world dramatically for the rest of high school. It started fulfilling those same needs again, gave me the competition that we're talking about. And then that ended and high school ended. And I was 17. I moved out on my own, and my parents thought I was living out in the Vancouver area at the time, BC. My parents moved 4 provinces away, and I got into gaming. And all the things that football was fulfilling, gaming was now fulfilling. I was out of high school. I didn't have a great job. Relationships weren't going well. So I got hooked into this gaming world. Fast forward to where I am now, and I've had a successful real estate career for 16 years. I was in the top 0.1%. I run an AI company and everything. I'm sitting here talking to these parents, and these parents have the exact same frustrations because their kid was me, right? And one thing I'm very blessed for and very thankful for is gaming actually, this is going to sound weird, but it taught me life skills that I use in business every single day. it became a part of, like, we're talking about competition. It became a part of a competitive drive. It came about goal setting. It came about mastery. And I'm sitting there trying to convey to these parents that this could happen. This could happen to your son, to your daughter. You could adapt this game in this way, but people don't like to listen to advice. They love to read about it. So I was like, forget it. I'll just put it in a book. And if people want to pick it up and read about it, maybe it helps them. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But it helped me. That's for sure. So that's what gave the passion and the drive behind it.
No, I love it. I know there's a lot that we don't understand about the impact of gaming. For me, my standpoint is many, many years ago. I don't talk about it out loud because I instantly feel very old when I do that. But for me, gaming was Donkey Kong, Frogger, Mario Brothers. That's Miss Pac-Man. That's what gaming was for me. And I was essentially strung out on it without question. I pop more quarters in that arcade machine than the law allows. So I get that. But now gaming has morphed into something that I don't recognize myself. It's become something totally different now. What do you think is, if you consider this, if you haven't, maybe you can think about it now. Is there a deeper void in men that causes them to retreat into the world of gaming? Is there an identity issue? Is there a void you think that causes that?
I'm so excited to talk about it from this angle, by the way, because usually I talk about more in general, but I love talking about men, young men, and all the rest. So we have 4 core needs that boil down all of our decision making to, right? So everything that you do, everything that I do, it's all to fulfill one of these 4 needs in a positive or negative way. There's actually 6, but we'll talk about the other 2 later. The first one is this need for certainty. We need to know the rules of life. We need to know the boundaries that we exist in, right? So when we make decisions, like if you look at a 2-year-old, they make a decision. What they're actually trying to do is push the boundaries to figure out where the rule is, because they need this certainty. They need to know where they stand. They need to know there's food on the table. They need to know they have a bed, things like this, right? Then we have this sense of adventure that we need. And the sense of adventure is a spice to life. Nobody survives just doing the same thing day in, day out, day in, day out. We've seen that happen with people in workplaces, and it just kills the spirit. But then there's 2 other ones, and these are the 2 that we'll probably end up talking about more. Is the first one is significance. Now, this one rings truer with men on a larger scale than it does with women. And this is the need to feel significant. This is the need to feel like I am somebody, right? Like I deserve something, like I'm listened to in the world, the need to feel respected, right? And we also need this need for love and connection. And this need for love and connection is like the relationships, the building, the groups around us, right? So if we were to talk about anything, we talk about this podcast, I guarantee you we go deep enough, it's fulfilling one of those 4 needs or 2 of those 4 needs for you, for me, for everything that we do, right? Well, especially with young men today, we're living in a world that's void of fulfilling these needs. I follow a fair bit what happens in the States, but in Canada, we have a school system that you don't even need to pass your grades anymore. They're going to push you forward and allow you to pass. We have a sports system that has equal play time. It doesn't matter if you're good or bad. It doesn't matter if you want to master the sport or not. We have equal play time, right? You're going to get the same reward as everybody else. We have love and connection that you're being taught. Young women are being taught you don't need men, and young men are being taught your aggression is bad. Who you are is bad, nonstop. And so then we wonder what the heck is actually going on. And here we've now given them this imaginary world, this world that creates rules, it creates gameplay, it creates adventure for them every single day. But more importantly, when they go from level 1 to level 2, it hits ding and everything lights up, and then they get better gear, and then they hit harder, then they hit mastery. They can compare themselves with others. This natural tendency to see who's better, who's stronger is naturally built into the vast majority of games, and is giving them their loving connection from guilds or from people that they play with, a way of connecting with other people in the world. So we've basically taken this, in my opinion, we've taken this world for young men and we made it devoid of fulfilling all these needs. Well, the needs don't go away. We're going to find ways to fulfill them one way or another. And it just happens to be a fantastic way of doing it.
Wow. The last thing I ever want to do is play what people call the devil's advocate. I want to bring the other side to the coin and see what your thoughts are on this, because I know that people, we don't hear about them a lot. I haven't interviewed, but maybe a small handful in the past almost 6 years we've been doing this show. What do we say, or what do you say to the parents of people of children who are actually doing something with gaming that doesn't seem addictive or harmful or deleterious to their everyday life, but they're actually building something, and they go on to create, empires, if you will, businesses through gaming. What do you say to them that will help them to, I guess, differentiate between where there's a danger zone, or maybe where this is something that's productive? And how do we identify it, and what do you say to them if approached by parents like that?
First of all, good job. So I think, to be honest, gaming is a very funny thing, because we look at it as the problem, but the reality is these needs that we're just talking about. As I said earlier, I used to fulfill it through Lego and Star Wars, and then I fulfilled it through football. These needs aren't nothing new. These needs are built in all of us all throughout time, and we just found different ways to do it. I shoot a lot of pool now, and I can tell you there was one time in a very unhealthy way, I spent way too much at the bar back when I drinking and shooting pool, right? It was fulfilling the same needs. Yet all these things can also be a positive thing. When I played football, it taught me leadership. It taught me significance, right? Like take a look at significance. I'll answer your question, I promise, but take a look at significance, man. There's great ways to fulfill it, and there's horrible ways to fulfill it. Like, if I'm running down the field, my number gets called, I catch the ball, I score the touchdown, I'm feeling my need for significance in a very positive way. I busted my butt off. I worked hard enough for the coach to call me, to trust me, to put me in, right? I can also fulfill it in a negative way. I can go to school and I can bully everybody. I can put them down. I can make myself feel better. And that negativity is still a way I'm feeling significant. It's just not a very healthy way. Well, the same thing's happening in this gaming world. If you look at my gaming experience, I laugh now because I still game to this day. I just game very differently. All-star gamers, you look at the people who do this for a living. They take breaks, they sleep, they eat healthy, they work out at the gym because they understand that their body, mind, and soul need to be clear when they go into that game. They have off-game record where they do research. They have in-game mastery where they literally practice for hours with what they call a target dummy on rotations on a keyboard just to make sure they're perfect, right? These are all amazing attributes. When I remember going for a job interview one time to lead a brokerage as a CEO type role, they asked me, when's the time that I ever led a diverse group of people? And I couldn't think of one. So I referenced back to my game. I'm like, imagine taking 20 people from all different walks of life, having to achieve one goal where one person messes up and the whole thing is done. And on top of that, they don't get paid to do it. We're just doing it for the pure love. And you have to lead those people, right? You can learn this leadership ability through the game, but there is a difference. Is your teenager devolving into a basement, cutting off all of his relationships, not having a relationship with you, finding unhealthy ways to do this? Or is he actually using it for growth? Is he sharing his goals? Is he sharing his game plan? Is he sharing what he learned from life from it? These are two different things that we see as an outcome from that young man in the basement, right?
Definitely, man. There's a communication piece in this that I'm wondering if you can kind of help flesh out for us, because we know that everybody that's gaming is not doing something wrong. You got to just put that out there and have clarity on that. I get that. I personally, because of what I've been through, I don't really do gaming on really any level. And it's a personal choice because of what I've been through. It's just like the alcoholic who doesn't go to the bar with his friends. It doesn't matter what if you plan to drink or not. I don't put myself in the environment. Right. So I get that. But there's a communication piece. And I wonder if you've had conversations with parents who maybe perhaps before things get crazy, you kind of help them to avoid, not communicating in such a way where there aren't these unmet needs that pop up that can drive excessive gaming in boys and teens specifically. Is this something that you speak to these parents about, or you have done that through your book, so that way people can kind of like preventative measures to make sure that it doesn't get to the point it gets crazy? Do you address that in your book?
Yeah, in both sides. I address it not just if it did get crazy, but before it does get crazy, because you're touching on something that I think is huge, and I think this is like the Achilles heel of everything that gets viewed around gaming. You mentioned it earlier. Your experience was like Donkey Kong, Super Mario, and those games were very different. They weren't online. Like, they weren't fulfilling those needs. They were entertainment. They remind me of TV, man. Like you have this game and you couldn't save a game back then. You'd have to pause it, turn off the TV, hope your parents didn't see this good thing still on so you could start it the next day. But that was like really worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And TV was the same way. And I think that's the way a lot of parents or a lot of people see gaming when they're not involved in it. They don't understand that you have these core needs that are being fulfilled through a game these days. And this is what's happening with your teenagers. So now you have this two things. So the parent doesn't understand. I'm just telling them to shut it off. Right. But to the teenager, they're like, my mom doesn't understand or my dad doesn't understand because I was just doing something with 5 friends. And because they forced it off, they all failed just as much as I did. And now they don't trust me to show up. Now they don't trust me to be there for them.
Wow.
Right. And this is what the teenager's going through. And something else I had an aha moment with the other day was, remember too, as an adult, we're used to rejection. We're used to this stuff at work. We've been through it. This is all new to a teenager. They're just experiencing complex emotions for the first time. So they don't know how to handle it, right? So one thing I encourage a lot of parents to do is first of all, before it becomes a 10 at 2 in the morning when you're ready to fight, deal with it when it's a 4, right? Like go at 7 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night. Don't unplug it right away. Tell them they have 1 hour left. Tell them they have a half an hour left, whatever that looks like, right? Come from curiosity instead of judgment, right? Come from this position that it's like, why do you like this? What are you gaining out of it that you are not gaining out of life? And the answer may end up surprising you, right? When you come from that. So like, I'll give you an example. Do you want to role play something with me for fun?
Okay.
Yeah, I love it. You're like, what's going on here?
Last time I said yes to that, I felt like I was really embarrassed on my own show. But go ahead.
All right, good. Well, let's not. So I like this because I call it the 3 deep questions, right? And this is the way it works for a lot of people. Is when I ask you a question, the first answer you give me is what you think the answer is, and the second answer you give me is what you think you want to hear, and the third answer you give me will generally be the truth. And even though I told you this, it's still going to follow these guidelines. Does that make sense for fun?
It does make sense.
All right. So, Mr. Yu, why did you get into podcasting?
It was an escape from some really negative thoughts and opportunity to connect with people who were dealing with what I was dealing with.
Awesome.
That's the reason why.
Awesome. So it was an escape from negative thoughts that got you to connect with other people. Now, let me ask you, when that started happening in your life, how did your life change?
I think I grew a lot more compassion than what I had beforehand. I heard stories that were like, wow, your situation is not as unique as you thought it was. You thought it was just you, but people across the world who look like you, who don't come from where you come from, look at them. They're dealing with the same thing and handling it better than you are. So it gave me compassion and perspective.
Awesome.
To be honest.
Okay, man, you're going in day-to-day life now, equipped with the tools of compassion and perspective. And let me ask you, how is that what has that positively done for you since that started happening?
I think in short, it just kind of helped me listen better. I thought I was a great listener. I'm like, yeah, listen. No. Under some intense evaluation, I realized that I wasn't as great a listener as I thought I was. Now, because I do things like this, I hear even what the person is not saying. And that's not only off in front of the mic, it's even away from the mic as well. So I've grown to be a better listener. Am I at a 10 yet? Not sure about that. It's hard to evaluate that, but I'm doing a lot better.
Awesome. I love it. So here we just went from, I'm trying to think because you had some beautiful answers in there. I'm even trying to think what was your first answer to why you did this podcast? Because it was simple.
Oh, I'm just trying to get rid of some dark stuff, man. 2020 was a rough time for everybody. And I needed an escape in a way to help people. Yeah.
So we basically went from this position where it was a podcast was, I'll just say it this way, it was about you. You needed help. You went there. But after I dove deeper into it, I now know a lot about you. And it's actually kind of cool. I love the fact that you listen. I don't know if you're married or not, but I'm sure your wife loves that or your partner loves that, whatever.
We're in year 30 right now. We got
congratulations,
3 daughters, grandkids, and soon to be 3 great-grandchildren.
Yeah, I can't even imagine how much better your relationships must have been when you learned how to listen. Like this impact of this podcast filters so much into your life that most people would never realize had I not gone 3 deep, right? And the same thing's happening with your teen. Like there's something they're gaining out of it that we don't realize. You think it's just entertainment, or you think it's just that first answer they give you. And they've never even thought about it deeper themselves. And this is how we connect with them. This is how we get to that different level. Sure. in your case, I'm gathering it. If you look at those needs, it had a lot to do with love and connection, the listening, love and connecting with yourself, with people around you. So if that's what your teen is looking for, if they're missing love and connection, we can find better ways potentially to help feed that to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Good stuff, man. All right, final question for you, Nathan, and we have your website up on the screen. It's a long one, so I'm not going to try to
Yeah, I got to do something about that.
So, yeah, so if you guys are listening to us but not watching us, we know you guys are faithful fans for sure. It's going to be in the comments section, also in the show notes if you need to have it, though. But it's going to be syntheticecho.ca. So you can check it out there. It's going to be on the screen right now and also in the comments and the show notes. So final question for you, Nathan. Mm-hmm. Because this show is about men rebuilding from the inside out, I want to address this and ask you to speak to our audience. Because we have husbands, fathers, brothers, and sons who are not only watching us live, but they may be watching us on replay when time permits. So that these men don't have to have an escape in the first place. How do you encourage them to approach being restored, rebuilding their identity, so that they don't have to escape into an imaginary world to find safety and comfort and validation? If you are approaching somebody who is dealing with that, speak to those people right now. Speak to those husbands, fathers, brothers, and sons who may be in need of identity rebuilding or to kind of be restored. How would you speak to them?
Man, that's a great question. I've never actually thought about that question before. That's a great question. So I don't know if this will be a good or bad answer, because it'll be the first time I've ever had to answer this. I'll make this short. I know I won't. I'll do my best to make this short because I know it's the last question.
Do your best, man. We're good.
Yeah. I remember reading this article on an earthquake in South Africa, and they interviewed people at the base of the earthquake where damage actually happened. They lost their homes. They lost everything, right? And when they interviewed them, they were like, "How are you feeling?" And it was like, it doesn't matter how I feel. I got to go find my kids. I got to take care of my family. It's like they picked up their weight and they went forward and pushed through it. And then they interviewed people like 2 kilometers away or 2 miles away, depending where you're listening to this. They interviewed people a distance away, and they said, now these people were in no real danger. Like they felt things shake, maybe some books fell, but they were in no real danger, right? And they said, what happened? And the people were like, it was insane. I barely survived. A book came flying from my head. They had to exaggerate the entire thing because they weren't in any real danger. And the point that they were trying to make was, when your internal view of yourself isn't matching your external view, conflict happens. So these people naturally thought they were brave people, were not in really any real danger, and were obviously very fearful. So now they had to, one of two things, either had to admit you're not brave, or they had to tell you how crazy the story was to show you how brave that they think they are. This, I think, is the first point to rebuilding. I know for me, I had to take an inward to say who I thought I was on the inside was not the result of my actions on the outside. And until I got clear with that, until I understood that, no rebuilding was even capable of happening. And it's, I'm going to guess for a minute. I'm going to take a chance because I don't know if I can say it without this. For me, without faith in my life, I'm a Christian. Without Christ in my life, there's no way I would have done that. That would have been a hard process to make. And I don't know if that's going to be for everybody, but if you are, that is what gave me the ability to look inside, see the sinful human being I was, and through grace, make these changes, right? And so if there's someone looking out there that's looking at rebuild, it's hard. Go find someone who understands. Go have I don't drink anymore, but go have a beer with them if that's what you need to do. Go find a space to chat with them and just take an honest look in yourself. Know, though, that you're valuable to God. Know that you're valuable to your family. Know that you have an immense amount of value in this life as you take that look, because it'll be hard, and start rebuilding from there.
Fantastic. The answer was exactly what we would be looking for. Definitely appreciate that, man. And you sharing your life here too as well. He's a speaker, coach, entrepreneur, and father, and the author of Why Won't He Just Log Off? He's also a big fan of the great one, Wayne Gretzky. Nathan Graham, thanks for being here and being a part of this conversation, brother. The connection has been valuable to me and to our audience, man. Thank you for doing this.
Awesome. Anytime, man.
If you're watching the show for the very first time, thanks for making us part of your week. This is the Men's Roundtable Series Interview Spotlight. You can find us every week on Thursdays. Also, Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Men's Roundtable Series podcast is always rolling. Husbands, fathers, brothers, and sons finding a safe space to talk about issues that are germane to men. You are definitely welcome, Nathan, to be a part of that conversation. If you guys are watching and listening live or on the replay, you guys are also welcome. Find us on YouTube or Facebook, preferably YouTube, probably easier. Find the show, join the chat, join the conversation. We need you there. And I think deep down, you need to be there too. Thanks for watching and listening. Have a great day.
Men's Roundtable Series, step inside. Real men, real faith, where the truths collide. Voices at the table where the stories get shared. Welcome to the Men's Roundtable, pull up a chair.